Hello friends, it's me, and today, Cheesehead! Let's check out food theory. What if Cheesehead was made of actual cheese? From the food theories, together, let's go. Let's go.
What if this was actually made of this? Could you wear it? Could you eat it? And even if you could, would it be a touchdown or a sack to your stomach? Turns out, it'll lead to a pretty cheesy death. Hello, Internet! Welcome to Food Theory, where today we're celebrating the start of football season!
Hello Internet, welcome to Food Theory.
You know what that means. 18 weeks of game day grub, superstitious rituals, and questionable style choices. Not the least of which is the Wisconsin Cheesehead. I mean, look at this thing. It must reek of a subpar defense and perpetually disappointed fans. Ooh, got him! Go Patriots! Now, obviously, this ridiculous piece of headwear isn't made of real cheese. But what if it was? These are the important questions that keep me up at night. After multiple days without sleep and gratuitous cheese sampling, I finally found the answer. And let me tell you.
Oh, fun fact, if I'm not wrong, it's made of a sponge. It's lighter.
There's a lot more to this hat than meets the eye. It is literally a lifesaver, but if it were made of real cheese, it would break your bank, neck, and heart, and not necessarily in that order. For those of you who aren't football fans, proponents of the pigskin, or just plain old not from Wisconsin, you may have never heard of this name to begin with. So let's get to the cheesy elephant in the room before we get to answering those questions. What is a cheesehead? Nowadays, the term is just another name for a Wisconsinite, or someone who's a fan of the Green Bay Packers, the American football team based in, you guessed it, Green Bay, Wisconsin. But it wasn't always the point of state and team pride that it is today. The origins actually date back to the Dutch hundreds of years ago, another group of people with a rich history in good Gouda. There's some conflicting opinions about how the name came to be, but it generally boils down to the French and Belgians calling the Dutch kaskop. The word came from the mold used to make their famous Edam cheese. You might recognize it as Babybel, the one that comes in the red wax. Whether it was just from their reputation as cheese exporters or using the kaskop as DIY'd helmets to fight Napoleon's French soldiers, that is not a joke. The point behind the
Wait, it's not a joke. Sorry.
word was that the Dutch were dim-witted and all they knew was cheese. Whatever the true origin is, to this day, it remains sort of a mild insult towards the Dutch. The connection with Wisconsin came about after World War II. The term kaskop was most likely brought back from the war and literally translated to the English cheesehead by Wisconsin sports rivals in Illinois as another way of calling them idiots. The connection was pretty obvious. Wisconsin is famous for its production of cheese, something that came about by the large immigrant population of Germans, the Swiss, and you guessed it, the Dutch. But the insult backfired in the most tremendous way because the Wisconsinites loved the word and started using it for themselves with pride. Which, if you ask me, makes sense because it was a bizarre choice of insult. Haha, you know a lot about cheese because you're the #1 cheesemaker in the country. Yeah? I mean, you gotta... Needless to say, the name caught on.
Wow, I respect them. I truly respect them. This word as an insult to them, they take it with pride and change their culture. Incredible.
And in 1987, the foam hat we're taking a bite into today came into the picture when Ralph Bruno, a fan of the Milwaukee Brewers, the baseball team from Wisconsin.
Sorry.
The foam hat we're taking a bite into
Gosh.
Haha, you know a lot about cheese because you're the #1 cheesemaker in the country. Yeah? I mean, you gotta... Needless to say, the name caught on. And in 1987, the foam hat we're taking a bite into today came into the picture when Ralph Bruno, a fan of the Milwaukee Brewers, the baseball team from Wisconsin, decided to make a cheese hat out of his mother's couch that he was reupholstering. Kind of a jerk move, but it ended up leading to a multi-million-dollar company, so I'm sure she wasn't too bent out of shape about it. The popularity of it also skyrocketed when it saved the life of a Green Bay fan during a plane crash. Told you, literal lifesaver. Ever since then,
No way.
And the foam hats become almost synonymous with the Green Bay Packers. So much so that they actually acquired Ralph's company, Foamation, last year. It was the natural move since the Packers were already his #1 customer. This is good news for us because it means there's an official size we can go by to answer our 3 simple questions. If this hat were made of real cheese, would you be able to wear it? How much would it cost? And would you even be able to eat it? The first step is figuring out what cheese the hat would be made out of. At first glance, the orange color is definitely giving cheddar. It's a solid start considering it's the second most most produced cheese in Wisconsin behind mozzarella. But there's a problem here. Cheddar doesn't have holes. Obviously, neither does mozzarella. Instead, if we want holes, we need to scroll down the top 10 cheeses produced in Wisconsin to number 8, Swiss. And I know what you may be thinking. Swiss cheese isn't orange. Well, I'm gonna let you in on a little industry secret, my friends. No cheese is naturally orange. Not a single one. I mean, think about it. Cheese is made from milk. While we've established milk can range from being green to pink and even blue, orange is not on the menu. And if your cow is producing orange milk, you definitely want to stay far away from it. So, orange dyed Swiss cheese it is. After all, it's easier to just dye the Swiss cheese than to painstakingly carve out holes in a hard and crumbly cheddar cheese block. With the cheese established, we can finally start figuring out how much this sucker would actually weigh. Now, the official measurement of the hat is 14 inches by 14 inches by 4 3/4 inches. You can see it on my head. It is a hefty boy. And thanks to the foam, it really only weighs about a pound. Real cheese is a real different story because it is way more dense than regular old foam. The Cheesehead is made of polyurethane foam. And knowing weight and volume, which we get by multiplying width, length, and height, we can calculate that the density of the foam itself is about 0.001 pounds per cubic inch. Swiss cheese, on the other hand, has an average density of 0.034 pounds per cubic inch.
I was wrong. Polyurethane foam. Oh, I'm wrong. Sorry. I'm sorry.
To do now is swap some variables around. Since we have the volume and density this time, we can calculate that the weight of the real Cheesehead is about 32 pounds, give or take a little because of the holes. This is a lot of weight to be plopping on your head, and considering the average football game can go for over 3 hours, and some fans start the party a couple of hours early in the form of tailgates in the parking lot of the stadiums, this can be seriously bad news. Don't get me wrong, there are people all over the world, from parts of Africa to parts of Asia, who can carry a lot of weight on their heads all the time. This is known, unsurprisingly, as head carrying. It usually involves a wrap that helps distribute the weight more evenly to help carry more. With it, there are people that can carry loads of up to 70% of their body weight.
But they do it on a regular basis. They train their body to withstand the weight. If you only do it like once or twice a year,
all on their head. If they can do that, then some rabid fans should be able to handle 30-ish pounds, right?
No, it's conditioning your body.
For one thing, head carrying usually involves years of practice and slowly increasing the weight as the body becomes more used to doing it over and over and over. Someone wearing a heavy cheese hat once a week for half a year isn't really gonna develop any resistances. And even if they did, head carrying leads to a bunch of bad side effects, regardless of experience. Essentially, no matter what, carrying a heavy load on your head increases your chances of head injury and speeds up the rate at which your spine degenerates. Yeah, degenerates. Breaks down. If Green Bay fans decided to swap out the foam for Swiss, we'd suddenly have a bunch of beaky buzzard-looking cheeseheads. But never, ever underestimate the commitment of football fans. I mean, look at this. Do you know how long it takes to grow, trim, maintain, and dye this sucker? So,
decades, I guess.
let's assume that our Green Bay fanatic decides to bust out the wallet and buy a real Swiss cheesehead, trademark pending. How much would it cost? Well, this is a bit tricky, mainly because Swiss cheese can range a lot in price depending on brand, location, and a bunch of other things that factor into the final cost you see in the grocery store. But looking at some of the oldest and some of the most popular cheesemakers in Wisconsin, we can calculate a rough average of about $9.50 per pound. That comes out to a whopping $304 for this slab of cheese our fan will be head carrying for hours every Sunday. Now, that may sound like a lot, and don't get me wrong, it is, but let's not forget that this hat is multi-function. Not only is it a spine-breaking sun shielder, it also doubles as a snack. And if we're paying Benjamins for this thing, you best believe we can't just let it go to waste. You're gonna want to eat that thing for every penny it's worth. So, could you? I mean, it's cheese. Of course you can. It's just a matter of how long it would take. 32 pounds of Swiss cheese roughly translates to 56,000 calories. That's almost 100 Big Macs. Needless to say, eating this all in one day is out of the question. So if we take the
Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. Oh, camera is a bit. Yeah, oh, yeah.
average daily calories a regular person eats, about 2,250, that means it would take our cheese-loving fan 25 days, almost an entire month, to eat this $300 hat. And that's all fine and dandy. I mean, you'd be spitting in the face of the lactose-intolerant gods, but eating almost a pound and a half of cheese every day doesn't sound like the worst thing, except when you realize that this thing would absolutely kill you. Horrible constipation aside, you'd be blocked up like an LA freeway during rush hour. The biggest danger is actually because of cheese's usual benefit, the calcium. You see, 1 ounce of Swiss cheese contains 25% of the calcium you need in an entire day. But if our Packers fan is chowing down on over a pound of cheese from dawn to dusk, that's 20 ounces of Swiss. 500% of the calcium you should be taking in. You may know calcium as a thing in milk that makes your bones grow big and strong, but it's a double-edged sword. Too much calcium can actually cause your bones to hurt. It can make your whole body hurt. Hypercalcemia is the condition that happens when someone has too much calcium in their blood. It is bad news. Now, usually there's almost no way a person will eat enough calcium in their diets to get anywhere near dangerous levels. But if someone were to eat nothing but their 32-pound, $300 Swiss cheese hat every day for a month, they'd be doing more than enough damage. The maximum daily amount professionals recommend is about 2,500 milligrams of calcium. Our fan would be eating about 18,000 milligrams every day. Doing this would make your body go into panic mode in a lot of ways. First, your kidneys would be clocking some serious overtime trying to filter out all the calcium. You'd be extremely thirsty and having to go to the bathroom nonstop, and not for the previously mentioned blockage. Problem is, you'd also likely develop kidney stones when the calcium hardens, and passing those bad boys will have even the toughest football fan crying out for their mama. The extra calcium would also lead to brittle bones, so the greatest benefit would actually be completely canceled out. See, when your levels are all out of whack, your blood actually takes out the extra calcium from your bones, leaving them with less of the important building block and making them weaker. So you'd be feeling achy bones and in bad cases, a lot of fractures. But the life-threatening happens deep in your chest. Your heart's tissue depends a lot on your body maintaining a balanced level of calcium. If that's suddenly not possible, your heart starts fluttering, which I get is usually said in a romantic sense, but let me assure you, it is not. An irregular heartbeat is known as an arrhythmia. They're not always life-threatening, but if you're pounding down pounds of cheese day after day, your heart will start pounding too. And unlike your stomach, which may not give up, your heart definitely will. When that happens,
Something makes a very good point. It's day after day after day after day after day. At some point in time, something's gonna give.
the next step is death by cheese. So there you have it. While this beloved hat may be a lifesaver in foam form, it would be a life taker in cheese form. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. And hey, if you decide cheese isn't for you, but an apple is, make sure to click the link on the screen now to see if they really do keep the doctor away. And as always, I'll see you next week.
Well, thank you so much. Hope you enjoyed. But hey, that's just a theory. A food theory. Bon appetit. And I hope to see you all in my next video. Thank you so much. Subscribe.